It's open, come on in. Hey guys, I got the movie for the podcast. Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Sweet! I can't wait to watch it.
Let's do it.
We'll bust 5 buttons. That's a horse of a different color.
So, I actually ordered a pizza for us, but I totally forgot my wallet. So I don't have any money. Do you guys have any money?
No.
Well, who's gonna pay for it?
I have an idea.
Well, what's that?
This is not enough.
Video games.
Awesome. That was a little intro for everybody for Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Not done live at all through VLC.
No,
No.
not at all. No.
Yeah, we actually, Ben and I reanimated from coins into people again.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
uh,
Pizza wasn't that good anyways. So.
No.
You tried.
This is the Spark of Madness podcast. We are going to be doing Scott Pilgrim versus the World in anticipation of Baby Driver next week, another Edgar Wright movie.
Oh, that's Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
That's right.
See, I didn't know that yet.
Yeah.
It's all coming together.
Hey,
it's like we planned
welcome
it.
to the Spark of Madness podcast.
I pay attention.
It's not like you're doing anything.
Oh, yeah.
A couple like housekeeping things. Like if you were just listening, there is a new short video, so definitely go check that out on the website or on the YouTube channel because we had a lot of fun making that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Just walk over.
Like, what are we gonna do? Do this. All right.
There is our first Game Sharks installment is on the site.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that we do that.
Joe and Mac. Yeah. It's gotten a couple views from the website.
Oh, two?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
me
Two
and
more than
me
zero.
again.
That's 2 more than last week.
Yeah.
And lastly, we also did a Better Call Saul long live show.
That was a two-parter, weren't
That's right, 2-parter. We did. We talked about the season 3 all the way up until and through the finale, and then afterwards a little bit. So go check those out. We've got a lot of content last week. Plus
it?
this.
Please
So
do.
let's dive right into our new movie, Scott Pilgrim. I thought we would start because we're going to do Baby Driver next week.
Keep talking.
That's great live video.
He does his own
for
effects.
the podcast listeners. So we kind of chose this movie. I'm like the biggest Edgar Wright fan. I know. So the movies he's done, Scott Pilgrim, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, which is a personal favorite. We're definitely going to do
Hot
that
Fuzz
at some
is
point.
great.
Hot Fuzz is
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies.
I'm sorry, are we taping?
Yes, we are taping.
We're
Taping while we're
We're doing
taping?
live.
What's the third one in the Cornetto trilogy?
Wasn't it the
World-
one with the end of the world?
World's End.
World's End.
Yeah. And then he was going to be do Ant-Man, but then he got pulled he left because of creative differences.
Yeah.
Because he didn't come up with that orange slice.
Well,
joke.
because Marvel,
Yeah.
the same reason why the Lego people left the Han Solo movie.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you could even in Ant-Man, you could still see like his fingerprints
Yes.
on it, like the way they shot and scripted out.
I
some
would
of
love to see what the action
scenes.
sequences would have been like with him.
Oh,
because
yeah.
the action sequences were so good in this.
Yeah, he does do good action.
So, and that sort of gets at what I was going to go for. What do you think? Like, because this is one of his earlier. I think this was before Hot
And
Fuzz,
he's
but
British.
after Shaun
He's
of the-
British, right?
Yeah. I don't know the timeline of when he did this versus the others, but what do you think makes Edgar Wright so, like, what's his style that makes him so good? Like, I can speak to
his
it.
editing. His editing, his quick cuts, and his it's quick, fast editing, but it's not. It's thought out, quick, fast editing. Not Michael Bay of like.
He doesn't
you know-
waste time.
No, it's actually really well choreographed.
Mm-hmm.
See a lot of action movies, a lot of movies that do quick editing like that is to save time because we don't know how, because they don't know how to plan it out.
Yeah,
you know,
it's intentional.
Well, yeah, it's a crutch.
Yeah.
He uses this to tell the story the way he wants to tell it, and it helps a lot with his humor too, because his humor is really present in the way he cuts his movies. It's pretty funny.
Yep.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, and so
Sponsored by Red Apple. Red's Apple Ale.
well, so I totally agree with the sort of like kinetic, kind of frantic, sometimes frantic, like way scenes progress, but like he uses it's very like
Thoughtful.
it's mixed with sound too, sort of
Yeah.
like I'm gonna grab the thing on the table and then I'm gonna click the button and I'm gonna do like a mix of a bunch of quick close-ups into
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's
The next-
1960s Batman.
We tried to
like
duplicate that
comic
in a little
book.
short, but
Yeah.
clearly
no
no avail. But
or no Edgar Wright.
No.
But I think the action scenes are also a token of him,
Mhm.
like the way he storyboards them almost. Like
Absolutely.
you can sort of see that it's pre-planned. Like, oh,
it's
this is gonna be a
complex.
slow-mo long shot into like a longer fight scene of hand-to-hand combat.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of directors, I think, find someone else to choreograph the action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
Where I bet he choreographs it with himself. You mean of what he wants, and then he has someone else in there to actually make the actors fight. But he knows what angles he wants of the fights and stuff. You know, there's some funny stuff when he adds in like with the well, we'll talk about that later. But like just the visual stuff he adds for the humor in this particular movie that's hilarious with those quick cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not done too quick.
No, it's done intentionally well. It's not done.
I mean, he's
like-
been doing that since Shaun of the Dead, and I always liked it in there. Yeah.
He's got such a good eye for the visuals, and then he also adds in
and timing of humor
with lighting and other things, like just sort of the whole. In this movie, it sort of takes it to the extreme with sort of the additional graphics he puts on screen, but like sight gags and like background details.
Mhm.
Like he's sort of we talked about Vince Gilligan and those guys from Better Call Saul, but there's like the Easter eggs in all of his movies are ridiculous.
Well,
like how much
he
like
writes them
everything
all,
everything is set up.
He writes all his movies, right?
Yes. So he wrote. Let's see. Well, he wrote the screenplay for this, but obviously this movie, Scott Pilgrim's based on a graphic novel series.
Yeah, but he writes like everything that goes on in it.
Right.
So it's like
The interesting thing though is that the graphic novels weren't done yet while they were making this movie, and so
I didn't know that.
but they wrote out through the end, and the endings are different between the books, and it's Brian
Cranston.
Brian Cranston wrote Scott Pilgrim. No, Brian Lee O'Malley's the right, but like they had different endings in the end, and like it's sort of like the last half of the movie is sort of their own unique take on it, but he did the author of the graphic novels liked what they did for the movie, that they pulled some scenes almost directly into it for
Oh, that's
the
nice.
book, because they they were so in sync with it. So
Okay. It's good to know they weren't too airheaded about their material.
yeah,
it's true.
yeah.
Again.
Anything else to add on Edgar Wright?
I think he's a very clearly. I think he's probably, as I get to know you more and more, your favorite director. I really do think
Right
he's your
now,
favorite-
yeah, he's
movie
my
director.
favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
He's
I
don't
think
know.
he's good, but I don't think he's like I appreciate his movies. I like his style, fast cuts and stuff like that. But as a movie maker, that I want to be someday, and the movies that I appreciate, I'm more of a fan of the longer takes, the longer shots and stuff. And the reason why is more artistic in this instance, because what he does is really good. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of movies today that have quick cuts for no reason, but he has it for quick cuts because of his there's a reason for it, and it makes sense, and I love it. But as a style of director, I like other different styles, but I love this style a lot that he does. Specifically him.
I mean, I would say he doesn't. It's not like just the whole movie's a quick, like short scenes or whatever, one after the other. But I think he uses
it's
it
just
to.
Prevalent.
It's good to. It's sort of he punctuates different scenes or transitions using quick cuts to like keep it moving and not be like a dead space.
Oh no, yeah,
yeah.
I agree with you. He does it right. I guess I would say in general, I don't like quick cuts. Like, I don't like different angles, cuts. He doesn't do that. Let me explain myself real quick so that I don't seem pretentious. But as I explain it, I might come out more pretentious. So, typical movies today, cookie cutter movies, even Marvel movies for that matter,
I think you just repeated yourself.
are shot like from all different angles. So you get the wide, you get the close-ups, and they shoot them all at once, behind the shoulders, and different stuff. And they don't. It's not storyboard or anything like that. They just do it and they cover it and they edit it and they, someone can have this really cool conversational scene with somebody, but they're facing like this, like a side by side. But it's a really dynamic shot. But then they'll cut to different angles and stuff. I said, "What? Just leave it that one cut." Leave it that one shot, you know what I mean?
Give me a chance to fall in love with the shot.
They just do it because that's what they think, oh, we gotta do this because that's the way the cookie cutter outfit. So in general, that way of cutting I don't like. He doesn't do that. So I guess I have to say I don't like the general rule of not letting things linger. But he doesn't do that, and it's a completely different style.
Well, I also think we're talking a lot about his editing and some of his choices with action and sound and stuff like that. But I think almost his strength is as a writer. Like that's his biggest asset when he brings to the table and how he sort of has an overarching direction of like, this is how I want you to feel at the end of it. In this, actually interesting, his co-writer for this movie was Michael Bacall, who was the little kid in Free Willy.
Are you kidding
the actor,
me?
Yeah. Who's now
he went on to do big things.
I guess he acts still a little bit, but he
love
wrote the screenplay with
that's
Edgar Wright for this
interesting
movie.
Facts.
Fun fact.
Hold me. The river.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that song in like 15 years.
It's the Free Willy Michael Jackson song.
Yep. Oh my God. Stop it.
So let's talk about.
Well, we're getting sued.
Sure we'll get into a little. Yeah, that was so accurate. They matched.
Shamu.
Shamu.
Shamu. No, it's Willie. It's a Willie. It's Aaron has a good Willie. Do the Willie.
You mean groundskeeper Willie? Yeah, it's really
you
good.
would slot right into
all right,
Edgar Wright movie with this is the one that's not all British characters.
That's true. Back on track.
So let's talk about Scott Pilgrim a little bit. So again, it's based off of a graphic novel, and it's sort of like 20-something. Here, literally, what the Wikipedia 20-something bass guitarist who's unemployed, and he's dating a high schooler. That's literally how it starts. I think it says
Scott Pilgrim.
Bill Hader, Scott Pilgrim is dating a high schooler, and then it just starts. And they use that like to Edgar Wright. They used one of the interesting decisions I liked that he did for this was using sort of the graphic novel's use of like hard black and white, and using lighting that way and like go to like full black and
Yeah, like a film noir kind of
and
feel.
like pull in the text on top of it. You used a lot of the like comics text effects
Yeah.
on top of things.
Well, yeah, it was like a different way to shoot 300.
yeah.
a better way.
Yep.
Thank you, Ben.
And then
You're welcome.
so what did you guys
Everybody
think
gets one.
so the general plot is he's dating a high school girl, and he's got a band that's going to go through the Battle of the Bands, and eventually he meets Ramona Flowers, who's this roller skating. She's not supernatural, is she?
Just a hipster.
She's just like a
But she was in his dreams.
American who, yeah, I get I don't know if it's just like his dream mind or whatever, but she's like, I came through this mystic portal or whatever and saw, I don't know. You guys remember that? Maybe I'm making that up.
Did she say that?
Yeah, I don't remember. She said something to that effect. But I mean, the way the rest of the movie goes, she has 7 evil exes that all have superpowers.
That are in a league.
The league, and Scott, Michael Cera has to defeat them all to win her over, I guess is the plan. So, and that's how the movie goes. What did you guys think of Scott Pilgrim as a character?
As a character?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think Michael Cera is awesome in it. It's
Really?
Michael Cera, right?
Yeah, Arrested Development. Yep.
He's so funny. He's so like this is his perfect role. I think it's probably his best role.
Yeah.
But his dryness, like in the way I thought it was a funny character.
I wrote this is almost a little too much Michael Cera-y, but I get your point. This is like peak Michael Cera character.
I like him. But I don't remember anything good else that he's good in. You know what I mean?
He was good I thought, in Arrested Development. I haven't seen him in anything else, though, that I
talking
kind of
about
like. Yeah.
movie-wise. But like he's like what was he in that wasn't like the year one that was okay.
Yeah.
That movie was
No, it
stupid.
wasn't okay. It
That
was
movie
just
wasn't very good.
It was only okay because it was like it had 1 or 2 good jokes.
But the sad part, you know, Aaron, is the Harold Ramis movie.
Yeah, How the Mighty Have Fallen.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
It was depressing.
Well, he was good in this. I mean, his character though in this world was almost like as a when did this come out? 2010.
10.
So just at a younger person, like you can sort of relate to it a little more closely. I feel like as you get older, you see sort of this like typical hipstery world, like you kind of, unless you're like more closely associated with it, I don't know. I felt like a little more jaded looking back at sort of this, like, none of us are employed and we just care about our band and our, you know what I mean? No?
Well, I'm not employed, so I guess it all came full circle to me.
No, I mean, but like, no, not that, but like complaining about we're so much ennui in our lives and we're just
Oh yeah.
you know, we're gonna go to the coffee shop and then play our little band.
I
and,
was a
like,
weird, different kid. I wasn't a hipster. I mean, I smelled a little better. Yeah, I'm not saying I took showers every day, but
Every 3 days.
every other day. Yes, every 3 days, except on the leap year.
yeah.
I don't know, but no, I'm just saying, like I get the hipsters, but I didn't relate to them. I was a kid making Yoda puppets in my basement, and literally, yeah.
I don't know. It was hard to relate to some of the even like his romantic tension or struggle. I don't know. Like looking back at it, but that was my one
I didn't care about his romantic struggles. Like I felt like, my God, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah,
you
just
know?
overall,
Of course he
he's kind of
is.
an asshole.
Yeah, you know, like the poor little knives. Yeah, the poor
Yeah.
little knives.
They-
No,
So
I thought that was funny. No, the Edgar Wright, the little subtleties of little things that he put in,
background
Hey,
stuff.
you
or what
see-
the seasoning of humor.
This movie, it resonates with me on a level a little different. It wasn't me that was living this life, but I knew lots of people that were,
Mm-hmm.
and I really didn't like them very much.
Until we
But-
became friends, right?
Yeah.
Well,
And then
no,
Ben-
this is some other high school and college people that I'm glad I don't hang out with anymore.
Oh, well, we're getting less views now, folks.
Well, so I guess
One less view.
Sorry, hipsters.
from 1 to 0. I mean, like they kind of. So as much as this movie is sort of video game like they use video game culture to accentuate him literally battling characters or whatever, and then like +1s and points and stuff come on. I almost feel like almost just as strongly as this like theme of not selling out, specifically with regards to like music and like how music plays a role at every single stage, and how like along the same lines as he's trying to work out his, try and win over this girl, Ramona Flowers, his band is also doing really well and like going up the line, and then they get a record deal and stuff, and then they kind of do that shot of them selling out at the end so I don't know, it feels like it's almost like you need to be, and then it ties together with like how the love sword isn't as strong as the self-respect sword.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's almost like you got to be true to yourself and don't sell out.
I like that. Like,
yeah,
love
I thought that was good.
Like the self-respect, stand up for yourself. It kind of rings true, like themes today. Of
What?
Yeah, the self-respect. I like the arc that they had. I mean, I did the part at the end when he has to fight himself.
The nega Scott, yeah.
So funny. They build it up and it's like, they come out. Like,
we'll get brunch next week.
Like,
yeah.
Zelda 2 guys.
He's a nice guy. He's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Well, and they kind of, I mean, because he was such an asshole, it was almost like you got to have some self-awareness, and like you need to respect yourself and be a better person before you can love anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he was such a dick.
Yeah.
Like, he cheated on 2 people, and it seemed like he's had they relayed over and over how he's had this like long trail of girls he's hurt or been hurt by, I guess.
And to top it all off, he's a real puss.
Yeah, but it's funny because he's afraid of getting hurt himself.
Yeah.
Even though he like his girlfriend Ramona, tells him break up. Like you broke up with people. It kind of made him aware of like he's the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah. And
yes.
he does everything he does is in that. Oh, everything sucks. So when
You mean I have to
hurt?
take responsibility for my actions?
Fuck.
But it's okay, because I got a coin.
That I love that when he killed the first ex, he goes, "Sweet coins!" I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was so
Sweet
funny.
coins.
I have a million just little one-liners that I thought were hilarious.
It's funny because it's nonchalant. People are getting killed. They turn to coins, and the people during the first battle that the people turn to skeletons after he misses.
just they're dead.
What I have to wonder is, all this really happening, or is this how he's perceiving it? Or is that going too
fever
deep?
dream? No, I think it's all really happening, and I think those people are dead.
Yeah, that's what makes it funny and dry. You know what it was? It was
got the email when he got the email. The whole thing when this is bore. I love. See, that's an Edgar Wright. I'm gonna tease out exactly who the exes are before you're even introduced to them, who they might be like. I'm gonna tease out the whole framework for the movie 10 minutes before at every point.
Yeah.
But it'll play itself in at some point. I love that.
He does it pretty subtly too. If you're not paying attention, you won't get it.
Yeah, he's one of those directors with movies where you kind of see something new on every rewatch.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote down when he goes to the party. So let's talk about Ramona, but specifically when he first goes and meets her at the party, and he's trying to find her there, and he goes, "Have you seen this girl?" And he holds up this totally crappy drawing with the squiggle drawing, and the guy's like, "Oh, that's Ramona Flowers. She just moved here from."
I think that's the director saying, "Let's just move it on, keep it moving,
and let's make it funny."
Yeah.
Let's
keep it moving fast. Make a joke out of it.
That same guy came back at the end and was like, when he was marching back when Scott died and was going to go back into the warehouse, and he stormed through, and that character, you can hear him in the background go, which this was something I learned for the first time after rewatching it. yeah, the book is always better than the movies. I'm like, it's just really quick, but
Yeah, that's funny.
So what did you guys think of Ramona? I feel like she took on sort of at least in people I know, like a cult status a little bit.
In what way?
In what way?
Like people loved her. Like she's like their dream person. No?
No.
I mean, I think she was all right, but
But
I don't know, man.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Is that her name? Yeah.
Yep.
What else is she in? I don't even remember what she is.
That Cloverfield remake.
So she's the girl.
Fargo.
She's the girl that explodes in Cloverfield. She's not the main
I don't know.
girl.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
she's the one that gets to explodes.
She's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Aaron, what did you think of her?
Well, it's kind of a mixed bag because one, she's always pretty honest. That's a good thing. I don't like her constantly changing her hair color. That's gonna ruin her roots someday. Just saying. And you know what? It always reminds me of like those poison dart frogs. They always have weird coloring, so you know to avoid them. She's got baggage, okay?
That's right. Well, she had the different colors for. I was trying to like go back and see if like they were for like different phases or something. Like it meant something when she changed her hair.
Maybe.
Like
What does green mean?
green. She changed her hair to green right when she got up with Gideon again. So I thought like, oh, she was being tempted by Jason Schwartzman.
Because the grass is always greener.
And then her hair was pink up until she like committed to Scott, and then blue like kind of most of the movie. But I don't know. Yeah, she kind of was a little. She was a good counter to the other kind of more bombastic characters. The more like they had more colorful personalities, I guess, and she was more straight, kind of
very dry.
Yeah.
She seemed grounded.
But you didn't. You're right. You didn't really get the sense of why he kind of fell in love with her immediately. Like.
Yeah, I think because she was in her dreams.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
And she had the roller skates. That was probably it.
What, you've never just latched onto a stranger that you see in your dreams?
No.
You visualize that shows up at your house to deliver mail. And then poor Knives is she. I don't know. I didn't like her, and I think
got her own baggage.
We were meant to not like her unfairly. Like we should have liked her because she was hurt the whole time.
I liked her at the beginning when she had longer hair.
It was all her hair.
She looked better with longer hair. I thought she was more attractive than.
She was a good
Ramona.
Character until she tried to make Scott jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you feel the point. You know, she's young and dumb. But I did like how she was a Klingon.
I'm not young anymore, but I'm still dumb. I wonder when that wears off.
And you stop drinking rum.
You stop drinking rum.
You'll start.
You're not dumb. And
You'll be
young
less
and-
dumb.
Yeah, she.
Aaron Burr. I have no
I'm Spartacus.
I didn't really care. Like they didn't really make, and also I guess to Knives' credit, she kind of got the badass moment a little more.
Yeah.
Like she was sort of standing up for Scott and like being a little more forthright, whereas Ramona kind of went along for it up until she fought the girl X. I think it was number 4.
She was strangely aloof until that point.
Yeah, and she didn't really like step in and like take charge in any moment or like try and defend. I guess it was sort of like an arc to like, oh, I'm going to defend my new boyfriend or whatever at this point. But then like for the rest of the time, she just kind of was onlooker.
Yeah, I think maybe because she was, still, room temperature with him. Not quite certain.
Michael Cera, room temperature.
Well, just like
She's setting
not
fire.
She's not quite. She wants to be comfortable.
Yeah.
With him, and I think she's kind of his yin to his yang.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because she's very calm and a different kind of characteristic, it kind of worked as this worried war in him. So they kind of fit together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her, because she's had a history of bad exes, and she's kind of lukewarm about them, and not sure.
That was one part.
I guess that's what I was trying to say. Instead of room temperature, was lukewarm.
Hey, room temperature works.
That was one thing I didn't think we needed as much of, was the sort of backstories, the little like animated backstories of each relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't think those were totally needed.
See, for me, this was kind of weird, the way it played out. Like, because she was so aloof most of the time, that's what made me think that what we're watching is in Scott's head,
Yeah.
Because, like, it seems like all this is just a metaphor for him dealing with her past baggage and finding self-respect.
Well, and it also it's sort of like him, not imprint, but like enforcing his own opinion or like story on top of.
Yeah,
he's like filling in the blanks himself.
This is what happens when you're going through like bad times. You're like, this is everybody else's fault. This isn't my fault.
Yeah.
If only everybody else was different.
Except he's still a dick all the time. And arrogant. And then he kind of realizes it at the end. Before we get to the exes, let's talk about Wallace, because you guys picked up on it way before me.
Oh, I didn't right away.
Before we talk about, I loved his character.
Yes,
like
he
was an
my favorite part of the
amazing
movie.
foil, and like both comedic voice, but also sort of like a like
not crazy.
I'm gonna kick you in the ass a little bit, Michael Cera, because you're being an idiot.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna show that
a
you're
real
being
friend. They
stupid.
kind of have a real friendship going.
Yeah. So I didn't realize who he was, this actor.
It's written all over his face.
You see it in the way he talks.
Say
It's Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Yes. Fuller.
Kieran Culkin.
Fuller. He's Fuller in.
Yeah.
He wets the bed. And I don't know why Scott Pilgrim laid in the same bed with him. All those gay guys. Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi. It's Fuller. Which I didn't know was Macaulay Culkin's brother when he's a little kid.
Oh my God.
The rubber sheets are packed.
So is that all you just recognize his face immediately as a relative, and that's it? Because I hadn't seen him in anything else.
He's also in Signs.
Yeah.
Really?
He's a little boy in Signs.
I haven't seen Signs.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Fuller! Show it. Fuller, go easy on
Got
the Pepsi.
it.
Yeah.
But he looks normal, and Macaulay Culkin does not look normal.
Yeah, well, drugs will do that to you.
Yeah. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Speaking of like later in their careers, famous siblings, the lesser famous siblings are getting more work now, and like the ones that were childhood stars are not getting as much work.
Yep.
The Olsen girl, she's not.
Oh, yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen is doing
Yeah,
pretty
she's
well.
getting more stuff, than him, and
The sister, the other Fanning sister, is doing better.
Yeah. But however, the Olsen twins, they're still raking it in with their
they got their
money. They have so much more money, but in terms
Don't
of
get me started about Joe Estevez, okay?
All right.
And what's his name? Jim Belushi.
Oh yeah, that guy I don't like.
Yeah, I guess he's a real jerk. Jim Belushi. Well,
He's just not entertaining.
he's just not John Belushi. He's just not quite there. But
No.
Jim Belushi,
So
and then Tom Hanks' brother.
There's another
Tom
Hanks.
Hanks' brother.
He's got a brother. You know his brother? He actually voices, Tom Hanks characters in cartoons.
When Tom Hanks doesn't feel like
Yeah,
doing
like
it.
I didn't
he's the
know.
voice of Woody in like the low
Oh
budget
my God.
Toy Stories
That's
in the
great.
video game and stuff. He's like it's him. I forget his real name. And then his
Oh,
Tom Hanks'
geez.
son does a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, Tom Hanks' son. I remember him.
Yeah,
Hank,
he's done
Hank.
a lot. Yeah.
Hank Hanks.
All right. We are so far removed.
We are off the
so far
reservoir
removed from Scott Pilgrim.
or the reservation.
So let's talk about the exes, because I thought my favorite. I mean, that's when the movie sort of really like supercharges itself and
Yes.
like kind of randomly, even though it teased out like what was going to happen
It
like
gets-
up to that
yeah.
point. And they had enough they did enough up to the exes part to make you like get on board with the characters and get on board with the tone, that then it just kind of everything's amplified from that.
Yeah, they don't give you much warning,
No.
and I like
It's
that.
just sort of like Scott Pilgrim and just flies in.
Here we
immediately.
go.
That first fight was pretty great. The Patel with the Dollywood number.
Yes,
That
that was funny.
Yeah.
And it's funny because his name's Patel, because like that's Smith in India.
Right.
It is.
Oh.
Yeah, because
that is a common name, isn't it?
it is. My brother knew a Patel.
He was never seen again.
And
Do tell, Patel.
and I also liked with that scene how they, in addition to the guy coming in, Scott just all of a sudden knows to be a superhero. Like, too.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to launch myself and punch this guy.
It's
And
funny.
it just video game stuff starts
You know,
going.
and I liked it because the first one he out muscled the first guy. You know, he out muscled the first guy. Like he out punched him and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And he did the like long combo and the punching combo.
Where the other ones he outwitted. He had to outwit.
Yes. Yep. And that sort of gets to like how the whole movie as a whole played into like leveling up in video. Like they did that when, I mean, I guess the graphic novel to that for that matter, but like they did a good job of both each X gets harder, but they did a good job also of like making each fight also different enough that it feels like
if
its
they were all
own
the same. It'd be like
its own like set piece, own like problem to resolve, own like different context each time. And, like they did a great job with that. I thought. And this first one was, you know, you start in Battle of the Bands, so and you kind of align two stories at the same time, like the background story with the new one.
For the band.
Hey Ben, can you tap Mario for me?
Do it again.
Okay. Do another one.
This is like the soundtrack of the movie.
One more. Good.
You broke it.
Uh-oh. We're about
No,
to
it's fine. I was just messing with you.
1 million. Oh, sorry, I felt bad. Even though it was you who hit the key.
What did you guys think of Captain America?
You mean the
This movie.
skateboarder dude?
I thought he was funny.
He was
Chris
probably.
Evans. I loved him.
He
Yeah,
was one of my
really funny.
favorites because he he knew how stupid the role he was playing was. So
He played it
He
over
played
the
it
top.
to the
And
perfection.
before, like this is what we knew him before was because this was pre Captain America. What we knew him before was
Not another teen movie.
no Fantastic Four. He was
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
he was the Human Torch.
He
How
was
about
in
that?
not another teen movie though.
Yeah. How about
I actually love Not
how about
Another
this
Teen Movie.
crossover of you know superhero? Like I'm gonna be this superhero and this superhero.
Is he the only one to do that?
No.
Who else?
Ryan Reynolds was
Yeah, he crossed
Oh,
over.
Green
Was-
Lantern.
and
When you fail that spectacularly, I think you're okay to reboot yourself.
but what
if
about
you
Bane
can.
and Venom? Tom Hardy's going to be both.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy's gonna be Venom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
This was Chris Evans' third crossover into
That's true.
superhero
It would
range.
be very poisonous.
For you.
If Tom Hardy was in this movie as one of the exes,
It doesn't matter who
it would have
you
been
are,
funny if there was like a older like an older guy. That would have been really funny.
That would have been. Oh yeah,
like,
yeah,
like a professor or something.
yeah. Like
No, just dress him up like Mad Max. It'd be fun.
and then,
Yeah.
you know, if he was a professor and if he was like Dr. Robotnik and he had to fight him like Dr. Robotnik style and like in some kind of like some kind of
Big
like
mech suit.
Mech suit. Yeah, that'd be
Michael Cera
hilarious.
fighting this
Yeah.
suit old
Dun, dun,
man.
dun, 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 dun,
That would have been really
yeah.
funny.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh, we have fun here.
Well, yeah, because I mean
Yes.
that sort of gets to my point of like it sort of all stays in line with like they're either all music related, movie business related. This like of
Sports
selling out
stuff.
kind of the sports, and they're all sort of a certain age range too. Like it's all
The hipster age range.
like the surprise I guess was that
Oh,
some
you
are
didn't get the memo, Ben. Hipsters can last till 40.
No, they turned to yuppies then.
That's right.
See?
But I mean, I guess the only surprises were the two twins. I guess that's kind of surprising. Then the girl who they tease out the whole it's exes, not ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, she
but
says it once. She just says exes, not ex-boyfriend.
it would have been fun to have like some kind of more. I mean, it probably would have pulled you out of it if there was some more
some
outrageous
bestiality stuff going on,
There's a
like some
dog.
gorilla that
This
she had to
is
fight.
Rover.
You know, like
Gorilla.
yeah, maybe.
You know they would have named that dog Bowser.
yeah. And then Donkey Kong, you had to fight Donkey Kong,
like a sibling.
throwing barrels at him.
Just gets really nasty.
Oh,
Brie Larson's in this. Maybe she could have like pulled in some Room type narrative.
Hugh
Like,
Hefner would have been
her
funnier.
kidnapper was an ex.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting really dark. So Chris Evans, I thought that was really cool how they brought in the stunt doubles part of it. That was
Yeah.
cool.
That
That
was
was a great
fun.
little twist on it.
Unexpected. It was cool.
You know what that reminded me of though?
What?
Do you remember Spaceballs?
Yeah.
The scene from Spaceballs when they're running
You
away.
got the stunt doubles.
Yeah, like they capture him, they turn around, and, it's like,
And they don't look anything like them.
And like the princess is a guy with a mustache with a cigar and a shaved beard.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not them. That's the stunt doubles.
Those are guys that took our uniforms
Yeah.
and beat the shit out of us too.
And it was Ned Ryerson who was the.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
Yeah, it was.
Bing.
Bing again. Who was the guard? Useless facts.
Ned?
Ned Ryerson. Needle knows Ned.
Ned the
Another
head?
great person to show up in this movie. Ramona Flowers.
I sure as heck knew it was you.
And he just keeps like popping up from the dead.
Where are you two going? Let's not spoil it.
Just like 100 people, 100 of them coming around the corner.
Well, he has to keep it video game. He has to be like, if he keeps it video game, be like Ramona Flowers.
Oh. I want those sound effects.
Let's so the Chris Evans fight was good in terms of like I thought that act was maybe one of the better action sequences for sure.
Yeah, and it was so funny how
the hand-to-hand fighting and then the throwing into the castle and the grind and that was pretty awesome. And then the third one was that was the Brie Larson. That was the band, the bass guy, the vegan.
Oh yeah, Superman.
Oh yeah,
the
Brandon
Super
Routh.
Saiyan.
that was hilarious.
So, did you guys like the vegan?
It
I
was
like
it was very like
It was stupid.
Surprising.
it was
fun.
stupid, but in a way that I liked.
It
Yeah.
made fun of veganism, and it made fun of like
I feel like that's one of the more like polarizing jokes that either you're gonna love it or you're gonna be like, oh, they're making fun of vegans. Come on.
Well, if
like,
you can't laugh at yourself,
Are
then
you
what are you
kidding me?
doing
I
with
agree.
your life?
I
That's
agree with you.
hilarious.
I thought it was funny, but like I'm just saying, like that.
you mean
that
polarized in terms of offensive?
in terms of like if you're a vegetarian or vegan or whatever, you might be like, oh, they're making fun. Oh,
So
okay.
what? People make fun of me all the time.
But what I'm saying is like the rest
Ben
of
does.
the rest of the movie is very sort of
There.
it's sort of within its own it's like has its own little boundaries of like what kinds of jokes they're making, and they're like making hipster jokes all the way through. So I guess vegan falls in there.
The
but,
hipsters,
yeah.
yeah.
Look, I'm gonna do my impression
the
of
ve-
Because it's like, oh, it's so cool to do.
Ben.
when they brought in the vegan police, that really brought it together.
That made me so-
brought
my
it
favorite
home.
So
cameo,
funny.
Thomas Jane. Yeah.
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 Here's my impression of a vegan who hasn't mentioned that they were a vegan for about an hour. I'm a vegan.
Eating a carrot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't drink that. There's an animal made that.
The the base
vegans
off was great.
breastfeed?
The base off from the like because they kind of spun it between. They kind of took a step away from the vegan powers and then made it about Scott's base skills versus this other guy's base skills. So it's
Yes,
more
they
like
brought it
about
to home
his
turf.
own personal. Like, oh, I'm not a vegan, so I'm gonna lose. It was more about like mano a mano, like within the same, like a gunfight kind of, and he lost.
Yeah.
And then he beat
wasn't
him with
vegan.
the soy. To
Yeah,
your point,
with his wits.
match of wits. Yeah. I can't believe Brie Larson's in this movie. Like Oscar winner Brie Larson.
Who is she?
She was the singer in the band, like his ex-girlfriend.
Who is she?
Yeah,
Brie
what was she
Larson?
in?
Yeah.
She was in King Kong too, that we saw together. She was the girl. She was the photographer.
She looks totally different.
Yeah, I mean, so what's interesting is she also was like she was like maybe going to be a pop star singer, and so
Real life?
and so they spun that kind of in. They
Next
used her in that
Tiffany.
way in this movie, and she had this like she had that over the top voice throughout this.
It was a very film noir voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of number 4, Anne Veal? You guys probably didn't see or watch it. Have you watched Arrested Development?
Oh,
Yes.
I haven't watched it in a long time.
In that, Michael Cera is George Michael. His plain girlfriend that he has for a long time is Anne, which
And
is
they always forget her name.
yeah. They call
Who are you again?
Get Plant.
See,
Anne
I didn't
Hogg.
make that connection. I've watched all of Arrested Development 1 through 4. Or what? Is there a 5th one now?
No, 4th was the Netflix
Okay,
season.
well, I've watched them all, and I almost forgot about that character while we were watching this movie. I was like,
Who is she?
the lesbo.
she's the girl.
And I was like,
and
where have I
just
seen
a
her before? Oh, yeah.
Total 180 from her character in Arrested Development. But her little fight was, I thought it was cool that Ramona stepped in and then was like kind of
It was
helping
more
controlling her,
Yeah.
controlling Scott. But then like the way she was defeated kind of was like, oh, okay,
'Cause it was
the like orgasm explosion.
he was like really felt weird about it.
Yeah, just like poked her knee.
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't
feel weird at all.
I liked it a lot.
Well, and that was sort of the beginning of their breakup a little bit of they're not doing so hot, like they were fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they go to the Battle of the Bands with the Kamayagi twins, Katayanagi twins, who are like over the top electronic music kind of characters.
They didn't do anything. They just pressed
They were
some
kinda like
keys.
Daft Punk.
They were a little bit the music they were making was a little underwhelming, but I thought like again, making each sort of fight unique, that was an awesome surprise
And I
for
like
me.
how like
the gorilla versus the dragons.
Gorilla. They made a gorilla. I like that.
It's
Like,
awesome.
yeah, they made a different monster to fight it. Kind of reminded me of like, the old Jack the Giant Slayer, like the original
Hi,
Jack the
Mr.
Giant Slayer.
White Christmas.
Yep.
When they had different beasts that would fight other beasts.
Mhm.
Old Ray Harryhausen.
Oh, Ray Harryhausen. We have to review one of those.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
How
And
about the beast from 20,000 Fathoms or whatever it's
Fathoms, yes.
called? Yeah.
I've seen it.
Oh,
I should watch it again.
I heard it's pretty good.
You haven't seen it?
I don't think I have.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on.
And the tour moves on.
Well, so again, that was a scene, the last fight with the two twins, which was smart because they like the movie, and I'm sure the books were kind of dragging, so we'll do a 2-for-1. But they used again his music as a way to sort of reflect how powerful he's being.
That's
Yeah.
the only way he can express himself.
That's right. Do you know Michael Cera is actually like in real life an extremely good bass player? Like
Oh, really?
they had to teach everybody else how to play. They had to how to play their parts, but he had to actually dumb
That'd be
himself.
hard to learn.
He had to dumb himself down to play like kind of more in line with them because he's actually pretty good.
So they really played their own music, huh?
At least some of them.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the end because we're getting to the end with Jason Schwartzman as Gideon. What did you think? They gave him that gum, which was so annoying. But I think it was
But it
was
worked,
obviously
'cause
on
we don't
purpose.
like him.
This is just like so frustrating. Like, just spit out your damn gum.
He
dude.
looks and reminds me of someone I went to high school with. That's just like that same like you're just a
Just that haircut makes me want to set him on fire.
Yeah.
the haircut. Haircuts are a prominent feature in this movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're way too hairy.
Yes, of course they do.
But I thought it was cool. So he got the one up after the last fight. But I thought it was cool that he lost. Like I wasn't expecting you would just, if you're
Yes.
watching it for the first time, you just think it's gonna play
Yeah.
right through. But like he actually loses,
And
and then they kind of
They
turn it all
replay
on
the
its
level, which I thought was brilliant.
How
'cause-
often do you beat the video game first try?
Yeah.
head. They replayed the whole movie.
No, that's that level when he goes up to that point. No, not the whole
Right?
movie. No, they replayed it to the
Oh, right, when he walks in.
when he
That's
walks
right.
in.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think
that's
that
right.
was
That's right.
really funny because when I thought he was going to come back, because I knew he was going to come back because he got the one up. He got the one up earlier. I thought he would just come back in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
but no, he gets a second chance, like a real video.
And he
game.
does the like quick playthrough, like, oh, I
Yeah.
gotta get this
He's
fucking
like,
thing.
no,
Like,
blah,
nope.
blah, and then like his attitude's different.
Your hat's stupid. Okay, like he just walks through there.
Brilliant setup.
Yeah, that was really good. And the fight at the end was cool. I thought that was awesome.
It was.
And to the music, with his band playing behind him, and
That's always good, yeah.
the
It's like we're not gonna get paid, and they take all the money.
And I love the design of the sword that Gideon had versus his sword. Like that was a real sword. Like his was like that laser 8-bit kind of saber.
Excuse me, it wasn't 8-bit. That was a mosaic.
It was 16 bits.
Wasn't even that.
A mosaic. And I also liked the DDR. They brought back DDR for the end.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
So you know, at the start when he and Knives were playing the Ninja Dance Revolution, which foreshadowed them at the end, where Ramona had been knocked out, and then she and him were fighting Gideon in the same way with the same graphics and sound in the DDR, and fighting that way. I thought, that's so smart. So good.
Very smart, very smart.
It's framing.
And I loved how they had him sort of spaz out as he was dying, like glitching.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good touch too.
Very funny.
And then, of course, the Nega Scott, the dark Scott.
Yeah, the dark Scott. Yeah,
it's so funny.
It's so funny. It's like, oh, he's a nice guy.
And then
he's real nice.
The call.
Yeah, they get coffee.
The smash cuts. It's such smart use of smash cuts.
But that's where like his humor in movies, is superior than most comedic movies, because like a lot of movies today, you don't see like comedic movies. Is that you can listen to that and it could be just as funny, but it's mostly ad libs and shit like that with comedians. But he writes the jokes within the editing.
Yeah,
or
he does both. Like he adds even more jokes.
Exactly, but sometimes the way you edit something can be funny.
Yeah,
and what you put in sound can be funny. That's what they don't do in movies a lot now.
Sound is very important.
It's sound.
Yes. Well, yeah, and. I don't know. I feel like across a lot of his movies, he likes to sort of juxtapose almost like boring everyday in a rut life with like the kind of fantastical. And so like this is video games. One, he goes like zombie apocalypse. One is like ultra 90s action movie for Hot Fuzz, and then World's End is like alien. Like the characters are all sort of like in this stasis in a rut in their lives, and then he like throws in this kind of over the top
absolutely
stuff.
It's a very good point, because this movie, if you in particular, could have just been like an indie movie about this hipster and this girl. He has to deal with all their ex-boyfriends, and it could have been like this indie movie, but he made it like indie but better,
right?
With that surrealism.
So do you know this movie and actually I don't think the books weren't written yet, but the movie was the original ending was he was going to go off with Knives. He was going to get back together with her, and Ramona leaves. And then they reshot it for him to go. And that's the ending we all probably saw with Ramona. And people were like, he should have gotten back together with Knives. So where do you guys fall on that?
I was hoping I didn't think he fit with Knives. I actually was hoping he'd get with Ramona, to be honest with you. Because, it just didn't fit. You know what I mean? They weren't writing, but I see if they would have made the character of Ramona different, it would have been better if we went back with Knives. It'd be like, hey, man, the grass ain't greener. This is already great right here, But the way they made their characters, it just didn't fit. But I see it'd be a better story if Knives was a better character, that you wasn't annoyed by her as much.
Well, I would have thought it'd be better if he just ended up alone. He used to work on himself.
They all do. Yeah. All three. That's kind of where I was leaning. It's like Ramona walks off like, I need to work on myself, but thank you, Scott, or whatever. And then Knives, she does the exact line that she does in this movie. If like, go to her, I'm too cool for you anyway. Like you could have left that in. And then Scott sort of is like, goes off on a new adventure or something. Like I feel like that almost would have worked better too.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting that they reshot the whole ending. And I think the book also went with, once it got written, was for Ramona too. But I'm not totally sure.
So they changed it after the book was written.
Yeah. So did you know, as we're wrapping up here, this movie, how much do you think it cost?
I think it cost probably $100 million.
I'm guessing 50.
It was 85 to 90 million.
Wow.
How much do you think it made back?
$300 million.
$250.
And the actual retail
cost
price
85.
is
It cost 90 million. It made back 47 million.
Whoa.
47
Bust.
bust. Huge bust.
Then why does everybody like this movie?
Because it's awesome.
because the cool movie.
Did
Well, why
nobody
does
go see
everybody
it
like
in
the
the theater?
Labyrinth? That was a bust.
I love this movie.
Rocketeer was a bust too.
Yeah, it's true.
So was Dragon Slayer.
I'm not. I didn't bring that page or that information with me. Why it specifically busted, but
I can see why. I can see why because you don't. If you don't know what this movie's about,
This is in
like-
2010.
no. But sometimes if you don't know what this movie's about, then like it's hard. It would be a hard movie to advertise. You mean you wouldn't understand it?
Oh, hurry up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
There.
That was instead of bagpipes
You
this
know, I
time.
kind of like that more.
Like
you know,
more contextual.
Yeah, I think we should change it. But
well, I mean, like we've got the trailer behind us and
I
the
like
green
that.
screen.
you,
It's if you're like almost all of it is more the video gamey action stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas that's not the whole movie. Like that's not the heart of
No.
the movie. That's sort of like the flourish to it. And so if you're watching the trailer, it's like, it's just a video gamey movie with Michael Cera.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I mean, the rest. I mean, the
I
whole
think-
cast
Michael
is-
Sarah.
I also think like the Baby Driver doesn't look that great in terms of previews, but you know who the director is. If you know who the director is, once he's established, it's why it's going to be good. I think they don't know how to advertise his movies.
Yeah, I mean, the
You
people
mean-
who like his stuff will go find it.
Yeah.
But the
The
problem
only way
is,
I know
like-
is if it has Simon Pegg in it.
Yeah, that's right.
I-
I bet Simon Pegg's really the draw.
But yeah,
For
but,
his
but
stuff.
I think they don't know how to market it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think they don't know. Like I think. To be honest, with you when you told me to watch, I was like, okay, I had it. You know, I was like, we're gonna watch this movie because you know what? Like, I forgot I haven't watched it. I actually haven't watched the whole thing until recently. It's like I wasn't intrigued by it. Like this is great, you know, because I just think the way that it comes off, like I don't think anybody wants to. It's just the way.
Yeah.
It's just hard to market.
Well, and I mean, even Baby Driver, they just spent a ton of money on it to like get it in people's consciousness. But just like Baby Driver, this movie has an insane cast.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
Baby Driver's cast is, established. Like these are megastars already. This, let me just read it down. Michael Cera. And at the time when they did it, they weren't all like as big superstars as they are now, but they were still like you would have recognized them. Michael Cera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Kieran Culkin, Chris Evans, Anna Kendrick, who we haven't even talked about, Brie
Yeah.
Larson, Allison Pill, who was the drummer, who I guess is in some other stuff.
He's a pill.
Alan Wong,
Nailed it.
Brandon Routh,
Brandon Routh,
Yeah,
Superman.
Superman.
Jason Schwartzman.
Yes.
And then
there's
even the
Schwartz,
even the rest of the cast was pretty good, like his little bandmates and
Yeah, the bandmates were
the little
funny.
pop-up character,
For the band.
the pop-up characters, the guy we were talking about earlier, at the party and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he gets the most out of his cast.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Years. So,
Yes.
any other lingering thoughts, Aaron? As the video game guy, how did you feel about all the video game references? We've talked about the graphics and some of the call-outs, but overall, what were your thoughts?
It's a product of its time. And this was 2010 when everybody was just starting to realize, hey, everybody wants to play video games. Let's talk about Mario and shit. You know?
That was the national conversation. Let's talk about Mario and shit.
Mario.
It's all right. They don't do it terribly.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been much worse, but it's not my thing. Maybe I'm just getting old. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, for somebody like me, I thought it almost always added to it. Some of the other like little power-up sound effects that were just kind of tacked on.
They really tacked on a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog sound effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of
And
those
Street
felt
Fighter.
a little like just kind of.
Some of them
Alright,
felt like they
whatever.
were there just to be there.
Yeah.
And they
I
fucking
did-
start the movie with the Zelda Link to the Past music. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yep.
This isn't even funny.
I did like the get it meter. That was my favorite.
Yeah, that was actually
The what?
funny.
Get it.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't get it,
A lot
get
of
it.
and the lottery wheel,
Yeah.
the roulette wheel that landed in between. I'm gonna go pee on her.
Yeah, that's a good,
'Cause it
honest
landed
joke.
right
there.
It didn't feel stupid. It didn't feel, it was good.
Yeah, it was a good.
But that's not video game. That's almost like what we were talking about
That
earlier.
everything I liked about this movie had nothing to do with video
Yeah,
games.
It's like the Homer Simpson, yeah.
I think
look
the video
inside his
game.
head.
I mean, I didn't mind. I think the video game stuff was funny.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I just the stuff I
score,
liked
high
wasn't
score.
And
that.
pulling the hammer out of the bag, like this huge hammer
Yeah.
out of yeah.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It was a better
fine.
version of Pixels.
Oh.
I never even saw that. But it's like,
I think you killed Aaron.
and on that note,
Okay.
No, Ben. Remember when Pixels was coming out, and you're like, I think this looks pretty good.
yes, until Adam Sandler. Like, no, we saw the preview for it. You saw the preview for Pixels, and like, oh, this looks great.
I was like, I don't know, Ben.
and then all of a sudden,
I'm
Adam
wary.
Sandler pops in. It's like, oh. I guess the story behind it, the writers who wrote it, like, had a really good script until Adam Sandler took over and like bombed the script.
The Adam Sandler script polish is probably not the best route to go down
No.
if
It
you
was
want to
good
make a
in
better
Billy
movie.
Madison.
Yeah, but after 3 movies,
40 years ago or
Yeah.
30 years ago.
1990 was 50 years ago.
snack pack.
Well, so would you guys recommend this movie?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would.
Okay.
Did I just walk on you? I'm sorry. I would too, Ben.
I'm with it too. Yeah,
I'm in Lesbians with this movie. Oh, love.
In Lesbians?
you're in Lesbians with
I'm in
Edgar
Lesbians
Wright.
with Edgar Wright. I
You
am.
are. I just
You're
like
right.
it's like
You know how much I love
you do. You love
when you watch
him.
me like
You
watch Hot
love him.
Well,
You love.
can I say that I
him.
want the World's End movie?
Fuzz.
Saw that a while back.
Which one's that one?
It's the third one.
There's two.
That's
There's
the
two.
alien one.
There's,
It's the Alien one.
okay, I didn't see that one. I saw the one that what's his name did that Michael Cera's in for a brief minute.
Well, I didn't expect to like World's End as much as
It's
I
called
did
This
because
Is
they
the End. That's another.
Oh, I
that
didn't
one.
see
That one
that.
was
That's a different movie.
That's the Seth
right,
Rogen.
different movie.
Seth
But
Rogen.
the World's End movie, it starts off as like it pulls a Dusk Till Dawn. You know, remember that where it starts off completely normal and
Mm-hmm.
about like halfway through the movie it changes completely.
Yeah, like this and
Yeah, a little
kind
bit.
of Shaun of the Dead. But
Yeah,
that
but
one's a little more like
that one was
total
pretty
flip.
jarring because no one told me what to expect when I saw it,
Yeah.
and
But that's good though.
Yeah, so it really threw me for a loop.
I
I was
like
like,
that.
yes.
I like that. Speaking, yeah, there's a movie. You know the Cloverfield Lane movie is kind of like that. If you haven't seen that, just like it just takes you to a total loop, especially at the end.
I like it when movies destroy
Yeah,
my
you think it's
expectations.
this movie, but it's a different movie completely. You
Mhm.
know.
Well, I think we're fully prepared for Baby Driver
I
this
think so,
weekend.
too.
Hey.
It'll be fun to talk about that one.
Oh yes,
Hopefully it's good.
And please, people, watch this. Watch this. Give us money, please.
Donate
Give
to
us
our
money.
Patreon. Buy our
We have
shirts.
no mechanism for anyone to give us any money.
No, just mail.
Just
Here's my
mail.
address.
Yeah.
Flash it on the screen.
Just maybe send $1 to every address in the world.
$1.
$1.
Hopefully it'll make it to us.
Yes. Or send $1, like 100 for every address in the world. Send it just one address. Never mind. I effed that up. All right, kids.
All right, I think we're done here. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Here we go.